Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Tuesday, April the 1st. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the card, otherwise known as April Fool's Day. And I'm already sick of that nonsense that I've seen already with it today. I think people, let's move on, guys. It's April Fool's Day. We don't have to acknowledge it every day. Just like with Tiger Woods. He thought he was so clever talking about how my Achilles is magically healed. I'm playing at the Masters next week. I never bought that garbage, that nonsense for a second. I knew all along it was going to be an April Fool's prank, and sure enough, it was. So don't trust what anybody says is all I'm telling you about today for sure. But you can trust what we're saying because we usually steer you in the right direction as far as winners go on the NHL card. We got a huge NHL card tonight. We've got 10 games on tap. But first, we'll look back at the short card last night. Not a great showing overall, but the draws certainly helped. Boy, oh boy, did they help for me last night for sure. We did have Philly money line. That's the good news against Nashville. But we had them team total. That fell short. We had the over by Fecta, and both of those fell short, unfortunately. But we did have, so it was a good and bad game. But the good also, Matvei Michkov over 1.5 points, plus 330 was our bargain bin special of the night, so it was great to cash that. But Philadelphia wins 2-1, and my fear all along with the over in that game is Nashville's just not scoring right now. 2 goals or less in the majority of their games, and so we saw that again last night. Not much offense to speak of for the Predators, especially against a weak defensive team like the Flyers, which is not a good sign, and they lose 2-1 there to the Predators, who remain undefeated since Bradshaw took over as the interim coach. So a great job by the Flyers, continue to find ways to win. And like I said, Michkov bargain bin special cashes, even though they only scored 2 goals. Matvei Michkov factors in on both Flyers goals to get the money for us with the bargain bin special. New Jersey gets past the Minnesota Wild for the second straight game, 3-2 in a shootout. We had a piece of the draw, which really helped in this game. For me, that was great to see. And good effort by Minnesota in the third period. They did make a nice push, obviously. They got that game obviously tied late with Boldy's goal. And even though it's disappointing they lost, it's a big point for Minnesota, and they get a point in the shootout loss to New Jersey, and the Devils get a 3-2 win there. What a job by the Calgary Flames. Boy, didn't look good. It was really Colorado carrying the play for 2 periods. Dan Vladar was spectacular. And look, he's had a lot of good starts post 4 Nations, and he had another one for Calgary. Kept them in it, kept the score 2-0. And then all of a sudden, here's the foot soldiers of the Calgary Flames. Not Kadri, not Coronado, not Huberdeau, not one of the big guns, but back-to-back goals from Ryan Lomberg, the Lamborghini, and Adam Klapka, the defenseman. How about that? Who had that? As the Calgary players to tie that game and rally them from behind in the third period in Colorado last night. Overtime was incredible. I couldn't believe the chances. Nobody scored in overtime. There were chances galore. It goes to the shootout, and the Calgary Flames with a gut check win against Colorado, 3-2 in a shootout. We cashed the draw in this game, which is a really good price, by the way, the draw. I'm going to have to look back on what the price was, but I know in this game it was a really, really good draw price. I think it was over plus 400, if I'm not mistaken, the draw price. Let me just, I want to mention it because it was a good price here with the draw. Yeah, it was plus 420 with the draw. It was a really good price on that. So it was great to hit that. 2 draw bets for me winning last night. It was absolutely great to see that. And then, of course, we wrapped up the night with Dallas, Seattle, wash, rinse, repeat. Just another Dallas win over Seattle. Back-to-back wins over the Kraken at Climate Pledge Arena. We were kind of getting worried that maybe there's some script involved with some of these NHL games because there was a final score post before the game even started that 5-1 Dallas. And funny thing is, in the second period, it was 2-1 Dallas and scoreless in the second on the final score that was posted before the game even started. Yeah. And that's how the game started. It was a 2-1 Dallas first period and a scoreless second period. It was like, no kidding. Are we going to get 3 Dallas goals and we're going to get a 5-1 final? But alas, that did not happen. Only the 1 goal late for Dallas to make it a 3-1 final score. But it's just one of those moments where you always wonder, are those conspiracy theories alive and well? Well, we thought for a moment maybe there was one with Dallas, Seattle, but Stars get the 3-1 win there over the Kraken. Alex, thoughts on Monday?
Yeah, no, it's funny when we saw that and that was posted up in our chat. I actually did take a shot with both teams to score and grabbed first period over live. So, like I said, conspiracies be damned, but I did kind of just play along with it and was able to cash. And I had a little bit of 5-1 correct score, so it had life. We see goofy things like that, and you kind of wonder. Like I said, 40 minutes in, we're seeing the exact score pop out, but like I said, it ended up being 3-1. The biggest win for that game was Dallas in regulation. Get grabbing that minus $1.05, that was minus $1.10 in some places as well. Big 2 points for Dallas, of course. It's just kind of carrying on, moving along. And that's the big thing too. We talk about that with the teams that are already in playoff positioning. Where's their mindset in the last 8 to 10 games of the year? And it's going to be hard to try and bet some of these teams because they could be resting guys. We could be seeing some big lineup changes. Of course, we definitely want to check up the lineups now. We talk about all these college free agent signings. We've got more guys coming into the lineup for teams that are in it, teams that are out of it as well. So we have to kind of look at that before doing a lot of our handicapping. But like I said, that game with Calgary and Colorado, that was just a lot of fun. Unfortunately, did not get the over in that one. That was my best bet yesterday. But just a great playoff style kind of a game, good back and forth pace. And like I said, Dan Vladar, he has been exceptional in some of these starts down the road. We talk about how great Dustin Wolf has been, but Vladar has done very well in the starts that he's got against quality teams. That's a game where you kind of wonder, say, well, wow, why do you play Vladar against Colorado when you got Utah on deck tomorrow night? But he, stood in there, got the win, got you all the way into the shootout, and helped you get in a very important 2 points with Calgary. And now you can see if they can roll that momentum into Utah tonight.
Yeah, difficult spot for Calgary, but quite honestly, an outrageous price for Utah, even with the scheduling advantage. I mean, my goodness, minus 185, minus 190. We'll get to that
I agree.
in just a little bit. All right, next. All right, let's get to Tuesday. We've got a big 10-game slate. We'll begin with the Florida Panthers and the Montreal Canadiens, a rematch, back-to-back. These two teams playing each other in Florida on Sunday. It was a great win by the Montreal Canadiens, getting the win there in Florida. And now they have the rematch here at the Bell Center in Montreal. Florida minus 160 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Now, your initial thought is we got the defending Stanley Cup champions playing the same team they just lost to at home on Sunday. Probably a good bounce-back revenge spot to back Florida. But there's a couple issues I have with that. Number one is the price. Minus 160, you're not getting certainly a bargain by any stretch of the imagination here with the Florida Panthers, a team that's still without Aaron Ekblad, Dmitry Kulikov, Matthew Tkachuk due to injury. And they've announced that Vitek Vanacek is going to get the start here in this game for the Florida Panthers. And I'm not laying a price with that guy in net. That's all there is to it. I'm not saying he's been awful for the Florida Panthers, but he's lost his last 2 starts. He's given up 9 goals in those 2 starts, 3 to the Islanders in a 4-2 loss. Just a couple weeks ago. And then in Washington, he got lit up for 6 goals by the Capitals in a 6-3 loss. So this is a goalie I don't trust. And I think it's very telling that on a back-to-back and with a huge divisional showdown with the team they're battling with for first place, Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night, Paul Maurice is saving goalie Bob for Wednesday and that big game against Toronto tomorrow night. So I'm looking at this as a situation where for Florida, you got Vitek Vanacek, who's been lit up not lit up in the Washington game. He didn't play that great in the Islander game either, 9 goals. Montreal's playing with, their playoff lives on the line. That was a great gut check win. I've loved the way they defended as a team. The effort defensively was spectacular, I thought. Committing to blocking shots, forwards helping out the defensemen, clearing the front of the net, trying to make life easier for Samuel Montembeault. They did all those things very nicely in the game against Florida, in Florida. We'll see if they can keep that going. Not to mention, they've kind of owned Florida now. That's 4 straight wins over the Florida Panthers with that win on Sunday for the Montreal Canadiens. So they've clearly matched up all right, with the Stanley Cup champions. So I get it. It's revenge, and Florida's looking for redemption. And by the way, while Florida may want to avenge that loss, there was an incident at the end of that game where Nico Mikkola took a slap shot, and it went right for the head of David Savard, the defenseman from Montreal, and they didn't like it, nor should they have liked it. It was not necessary to do that. And so they were really pissed at Mikkola at the end of that game. So I think Montreal, I can tell you they wouldn't mind beating Florida 2 times in a row. So I'm going right back to the well here, like I did on Sunday. Montreal money line, Montreal team total over 2.5 at -120. Pretty cheap considering, I don't trust Vitek Vanacek with all that much for the Florida Panthers. So I'm going to go back to the well with those here in this game. I'm a little dabble in the first period goal as well, because Montreal has scored a goal in the first period in 8 of their last 9 games. It's been strong that they've been able to get on the board in the opening 20 minutes. So we're going to go back to the well, the first period over as well. Yep, right there with that. I don't like the full game over as much this time around, because we got a 5.5 with that game on Sunday. It's 6 here pretty much across the board. Unless you have DraftKings, you can get 5.5 there. If you can get 5.5, I don't mind the full game over, but I like the first period over more, because that's what's been absolutely cooking for the Montreal Canadiens as of late. Alex, what do you think here? Rematch, Panthers, Habs.
Yeah, like I say, Montreal has found something over the last 4 games to be able to beat Florida, and like we said, sometimes when you see that, that's not just a one-off or an aberration. That may just be an actual trend where you have this Habs team playing well against Florida, and like I said, finding the strategy to beat this team. So I'm taking a shot with the Habs small at home +140. But there's other stuff that I like here. I like that both teams score +150. So this would be an over trifecta, but I'm looking more for in-game first period over and over, like I said, that 6. Try and get that to 5.5, or try and get that 5.5 at a better price at DraftKings. Try and get that 1.5 toward a closer to plus money. Also would lean with Habs team total over 2, or they said that over 2.5. -120. I think that's a great spot. Vanacek's definitely a goalie that we can fade. And even if Florida gets the win, there's no reason to see why he couldn't give up 3 goals in that spot. So I'm going to go heavier with the team total than I will on the money line. Both teams to score, and then we'll try to grab the over bifecta, the rest of the over trifecta, I should say, in game.
Yeah, no doubt. So there you go. It's a good approach. Like I say, I like the Montreal goal in the first. I like Montreal team total money line split for the full game. And like I said, what can we say about the Montreal first period overs? They've been very strong, obviously, with that. So from that perspective, I think that's definitely worth a look again, because the first period over hit in Florida on Sunday. I'm just trying to look up Chris Otto's charts here, because definitely I know that's been one of the hottest first period over teams lately in the NHL. Yeah, it's 8 straight. It's 8 straight first period overs here for the Montreal Canadiens. So I think when you look at this situation right here, 9-1 in the last 10, 8 straight. So yeah, it's been strong. So the first period over is definitely worth a look. The full game could be under. I agree. This is definitely a game where I like the first period over way more than the full game over here with the Panthers and the Habs tonight. And then as far as props go for this game, by the way, everyone's excited. It's just crazy how people are just, Jacob Fowler is going to be a great goalie. Habs fans, make no mistake about it. You got a good one with him. He has the potential to be one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. There's no doubt. That's how high the ceiling is for Jacob Fowler. Let's not rush him to Montreal and make him the starter right now. Like, some of this discussion I'm hearing is absolutely absurd. And I get it. They're excited because obviously Jacob Fowler's college team, Boston College, saw their season come to an end this past. I'm seeing Habs fans, and I know some of them. Some of them are friends of mine saying, well, it's Jacob Fowler time. He's going to take over the net. Not a chance that's happening. Give him time to get seasoning down in Laval with the Laval Rocket in the American Hockey League. Let him get starts at the professional level and let him gain some confidence. Let him get acclimated, to professional hockey. Don't rush this kid. Don't do that. Can we let this breathe a little bit? Like, let's let the kid marinate a little bit down there in the American Hockey League and get some experience and some games under his belt. Besides, it's not like, I know Dobish has fallen off a little bit lately. We've talked about it's almost like teams have exploited a little flaw in him. But Montembeau's had a good season. Montembeau was very good the last game he started against Florida. Let's not rush him. Okay, Jacob Fowler's going to be probably a stud, a phenomenal goaltender at the NHL level. Doesn't mean we're rushing him in day one right out of college and starting him in one of our biggest games of the season tonight against the Florida Panthers. Don't be ridiculous, guys. Come on.
But you know what?
In general, yeah.
But you know what? I get the enthusiasm, and I get where Habs fans are coming from. It's the complete opposite of what's going on in Detroit. They're saying, "Hey, we've got this guy who's a quality talent. We know what we've seen before historically, right? This is Montreal. It's the team that you go all the way back to 1986. Young kid named Patrick Waugh pops up out of nowhere, all of a sudden carries them to a cup. You can even go all the way back to Ken Dryden, hell, for that matter. They've had young goalies carry them far. So I guess they feel that, try to catch that lightning in a bottle aspect. We've seen how many teams have we talked about throughout the years that have had young goalies just pop up and play well. And maybe that's the kind of the mindset thinking. Like I said, it's going to be a while, and there's no reason to rush them because you do have a quality goalie. But I get the excitement and the enthusiasm for the fans, certainly.
Oh, Marchand's getting booed, Ken, of course. Marchand's getting booed in Montreal. I mean, my gosh, he was booed every time he was a Bruin in that building. Now that he's another division rival, albeit now Florida, of course he's still going to get booed. I don't think that's going to change. And that atmosphere should be something at Bell Center. The atmosphere has been hopping at the Bell Center the last few home games that Montreal's played there, and they know they're right there with a chance to make the playoffs. So, like I said, that's going to be a exciting, amped up atmosphere, as it often is at the Bell Center. Just quickly, props. Yeah, I like what JD is doing with Marchand assist. He assisted on the game-winning goal, I know, a couple games ago against the Utah Hockey Club on Friday night. They ended up winning with the assist from Marchand to Reinhart on that game-winning goal. So definitely could see maybe him chipping in that regard for this team here tonight. As far as point props, though, for this game, there's a couple that stand out. Barkov is no, that was Jimmy's prank that Barkov was out for the year. Remember that? I've got that in my head. Jimmy Murphy tried to get involved in this nonsense that is April Fool's Day, trying to sell us on the fact that Barkov is out for the season. And of course, he was just being funny. But it's not the case. He's playing tonight, and he's on a 3-game point streak for the Florida Panthers. Lane Hudson assists. We've talked about that. The Lane Hudson to Patrick Laine connection on the power play came back Sunday against Florida. So something to keep in mind there. So if you like power play props, I mean, that's the place you start with. Lane Hudson and Patrick Laine. How many times have we seen Hudson set it up on a fucking tee for Patrick Laine on the power play? So definitely that is something probably worth consideration here as well tonight in this game. All right, Buffalo, Ottawa. We've got Ottawa minus 180, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. No bet yet. I should say yet. Probably will have something on it, but I'm waiting to see who's going to get the start here for the Sabres. Not that it's a huge deal, but right now UPL is in one. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, as far as struggling, I mean. You look at his recent starts, it's not been good. Reimer's been the better goalie. Reimer was playing very well until the Washington game, but that just turned into one of those crazy up and down track meets, but gave up 5 goals, but yet was the goalie of winning record because Buffalo scored 8 and got an 8-5 win against Washington. But before that, he had played pretty well. 4-1 is the run for Reimer. 4-0 run for him in his last 4 starts. So this is something to keep an eye on. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, meanwhile, like I said, he has really struggled in recent starts, given what we have seen from him. Let me just pull up UPL's recent game log. 7 allowed to Philly, 3 to Minnesota, 3 to Vegas, 7 to Detroit. 6 to Tampa Bay. You wonder if he's wearing down. We talked about how many games he started this year, which is probably a record for him in his NHL career, and he's wearing down quite a bit. So this is definitely one where I really, really love the over by Fecta if it's UPL. I like it a little bit less if it's James Reimer because he has been serviceable. He's been solid. I know he gave up the 5 goals against Washington, not as good as the starts before that, but I think that was just a product of the game, just, hetsy-ketsy, all over the place, up and down. So I think that just got caught up in a game like that. I don't hold it at the feet of James Reimer necessarily. I do like the over by Fecta still, even if it is Reimer, but like it more if it ends up being UPL here in this game. First period over, stronger for me, though, than the full game over, because Buffalo is one of these teams that are starting to heat up to the first period over once again. 4 straight Buffalo games have gone over the total in the first period. So it's an over by Fecta, but skewed more to the first period over for me. The side's tough. Buffalo has actually owned Ottawa recent meetings. And Buffalo continues to play their best hockey with nothing on the line. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane how they keep doing this year in and year out. When the Buffalo Sabres season starts when they get eliminated from the playoffs. That's what happens every year with Buffalo. And look at them now here, 4-1 in their last 5 games. Like I said, they beat Ottawa at home 3-2 for one of those wins. They've beaten Ottawa 3 straight times, 4 of the last 5. That's enough to say pass on Ottawa here. And if I were to look at Ottawa, I would only consider the team total. Obviously, nothing in this minus 180 price range here. Alex, what do you think here? Buffalo, Ottawa.
Yeah, so I am seeing Reimer confirmed. Reimer and Olmark confirmed. Yeah, so more than likely I will be looking for a first period over in game. Like I said, I'm seeing minus $1.35 at Caesars. So try and grab $1.15, $1.10 a couple minutes into the contest. But I like the draw here, plus 360. Like I said, we've been seeing Buffalo hanging around tough. They seem to relish playing this spoiler role. They know that Ottawa's in the position that they would like to be in as one of the two wild card spots, one wild card teams battling for a spot. So I take a little shot here with the draw, and I will be circling that first period over a couple minutes into the contest.
Good stuff there. Oh, I just thought of it now. Our Ice Guys Greatest Hits playlist. I know we don't have this song yet in there, but it's the song I've used for Buffalo Sabres Jack Quinn. And Jack Quinn is on a roll right now. 4-game point streak for Jack Quinn, 2-game goal streak, but a 4-game point streak. That's what Jack Quinn does. He heats up and he gets things going. So he's on a roll right now. So we got to sing this with all our might and all our, as well as we can. Come all without. Come all within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Jack Quinn. There you go. That's Manfred Mann. It's a great song. Quinn the Eskimo. Mighty Quinn. It's a great song from back in the day. But yes, he is mighty right now. Jack Quinn, make no mistake about it. The way he's played for the Buffalo Sabres. 4-game point streak. And of course, the 2-game goal streak as well. Tuck can't be stopped right now either. How about Alex Tuck, the old veteran? Way he's playing right now for this Sabres team. 3-game point streak. Power. I've got the power. Owen Power. He's on a 3-game point streak as well for the Buffalo Sabres. Like I said, Tuck on a 3-game goal streak. Quinn on a 2-game goal streak. So definitely some really, really good streaking players right now, playing well for the Buffalo Sabres. No, Ryan McLeod's worth a look. How good has he been? Obviously for this Sabres team as well. So Quinn, McLeod, Tuck. You can't be stopped right now, these 3 guys playing well, believe it or not, for the Ottawa Senators. The big news here for Ottawa, I didn't even mention it, shame on me, Brady Tkachuk out, the captain. Obviously, they'll always miss him. Talked about when Tkachuk and Sanderson and Pinto, those 3 guys were out, how they were a much different team and they struggled. But definitely that hurts. It looks like Stützle, Giroux, Zetterlund, Batherson, Cousins, Perron going to be your top 6 here tonight. I would say, Ottawa's always a tough team to bet for props because you want to take you certainly want to take Cousins tonight going up against the Buffalo Sabres. But I think Perron's been in good form. He's worth a look. Batherson's been strong. I keep saying Zetterlund eventually is going to get going with Stützle and Giroux playing in that position. Parlay Pinto, is always a threat. So there's always different ways to go about it here as far as props for Ottawa. But like I said, those are the players I would kind of look toward. All right, Nashville and Columbus. We've got the Jackets minus 200, home favorites, 6 the total, 5.5 at DraftKings, but most books do have this at 6. So there's no way we're betting anything Nashville over right now. Yet that being said, I am on the first period over simply because Columbus is another one of these teams that's streaking that way. 4 straight first period overs for this Columbus Blue Jackets team. We'll see if that continues here tonight. But that's it for me. And I don't trust Nashville fully to find the back of the net here in this game. We see that the scoring is just dried up for them, and it doesn't make things easier for them to find the back of the net when Jonathan Marchessault's out. He's day-to-day still with the lower body injury. Obviously, we saw Justus Onanen last night, so it should be UC Saros here tonight on the back-to-back. Elvis Merzlikins is already confirmed here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to do something that I don't do much of, and, it's always scary, with these games that can go to overtime. And at this time of year, but I'm going to take a shot. Columbus -1 on the puck line. Columbus -1 on the puck line. Not in regulation. I'm scared it's a Columbus overtime or shootout win, potentially, even though they should drill this team. But like I said, Columbus -1 in case they win in overtime or a shootout. That way we get our money back. That's why I go that route instead of Columbus in regulation. So Columbus puck line -1 for a little security, and you can get that at -120. And obviously a much better price than the -200 money line. So there you go. First period over. Columbus -1, -120 puck line. I lean to that team total over for the Jackets, Robert. I do, but something tells me this could be 2-1, 3-1 again, like last night, the way Philly beat Nashville. But I don't hate the team total either. I just prefer -1 as my way to bet Columbus here. Alex, what do you think here? Predators, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I did sprinkle small on that team total over 3.5. You can get plus 104 at FanDuel. I see a plus 100 at DraftKings. So shop around, try and get plus money on that. But then I went with that first period over as well. I grabbed that pregame minus $1.20. It's available at Caesars. If you see anything higher, minus 130, 135, I'd suggest waiting a couple minutes into the contest. But I definitely think we can see goals here early and often from Columbus in an important game for them.
I agree with that. And as far as player props for this game are concerned, there's not as many that stand out here. I will say this: there's one that does for Nash. Obviously, Werenski's a point machine at home, so I wouldn't talk anyone out of that. Marchenko's on a 3-game point streak, but it's the captain. It's Boone Jenner for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He has been really heating up of late. He's on a 4-game point streak. He's also on a 4-game goal streak. So both of them I like. Well, goal prop, assist prop. Or you can just bet the point prop instead of the goal prop and the assist prop individually. But either way, Boone Jenner's heating up right now for this Jackets team. Marchenko's on a 3-game goal scoring streak for the Jackets as well, entering tonight. But yeah, Boone Jenner's definitely worth a look here. And this is what you want to see from your captain, trying to get in the playoffs. And after a tough weekend for Columbus, where they had the barn burner up and down, scintillating game with Vancouver on Friday, and then they had to play in Ottawa on a back-to-back, and they lost. I thought the effort was really commendable for Columbus against Ottawa. Tough spot, and yet they only lost 3-2, and they outplayed Ottawa in that third period. The Senators were lucky to hang on, but now they've been off for 2 full days since Saturday. They got some time to catch their breath a little bit, so it is a really good spot here for Columbus. They get some rest in their system. You're playing a Nashville team back-to-back on the road, so this has got to be 2 points. If you're going to be any sort of a playoff team or chance to be one, you got to bear down and get the 2 points tonight if you're the Columbus Blue Jackets. All right, next up, we've got Washington and Boston. We've got the Capitals -220, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Can't do it with Washington. I don't want to bet Boston. Who does want to bet Boston right now? They stink. They stink out loud. They're terrible. But we've seen now, it was one thing to lose those 2 games in a row last week. Winnipeg and Minnesota, okay? Winnipeg's a good team, and Minnesota, okay. I'll let them lose that game. But with 2 days off, following that Minnesota loss, to come back home and then lose 8-5 to Buffalo, that's enough now for me to say, no Washington for now. No Washington for now. We're not betting this team for the moment. We're going to let them go through their little malaise, and right now they're kind of going through the motions just a little bit because, look, I think the only thing that's really keeping them stimulated is trying to get Ovi the record, to beat Wayne Gretzky's record before the regular season ends. That, to me, is what's the one thing that's on their objective list, because their play has declined. Their defensive play has really taken a step back in some of these games recently, and even Logan Thompson's, not playing quite nearly as well, although part of that's the team in front of them's got to play a little bit better. But that being said, this team is cruising toward winning the division. It's just a question of when, not if. There's nobody around them, nobody to threaten them, nobody to keep them on their toes in the divisional race or in the conference race for that matter. And so they're just kind of a team that, they're just playing out the string, and not the kind of effort that I want to see from a -220 road favorite here. And for as bad as things are with the Boston Bruins right now. So it's an easiest pass on the board for me from a side perspective. No Washington at this price right now, but I'm not trusting the Bruins either. This is more of a prop game. And as we know, the headline story is Ryan Leonard. And how about the little night out at the bar that he had with Alex Ovechkin and Jacob Chikrin and all the college kids. I think most of them were Leonard's teammates, I believe, from Boston College, because it was in Boston. There they are singing and, having a few drinks. I'm sure Leonard was just having, Shirley Temple or some shit or something that was non-alcoholic last night because he's playing tonight. But nevertheless, it was it's a nice little way for, ingratiate himself now with Ovi, and it was nice that Ovi did that, and Chikrin too, who's now a veteran, to get Ryan Leonard and go out, have some fun night before Ryan Leonard's NHL debut, who of course is a Massachusetts kid, so I'm sure he's going to have family and friends in attendance tonight at Boston. So we got to take a shot with Ryan Leonard here in his NHL debut to score a goal. And there's another of the college prospects making their debut tonight that I think has a chance to find the back of the net as well here tonight. But Ryan Leonard is on the board, which is good. Sometimes when you see these debuting players, especially when it's so quickly, that he signed yesterday and now he's in the lineup making his Capitals and NHL debut tonight. Sometimes these sports books are slow on the trigger and they don't put him on the sheet right away or give you an opportunity to bet their props. But that is not the case with Leonard. He's up there. It was like plus 450 or so at Bet365 when I got it. So it was a really good price. I like that they're going to feature him right away. They're going to put him in a top 6 role for this Capitals team. He'll be playing alongside Alexei Protas and Dylan Strome, who have obviously had very good seasons as well for the Capitals. Ovechkin, PLD, and Wilson. Looks like that's going to be the top line here tonight for the Capitals. But yeah, we'll take a shot in his debut. Ryan Leonard here for Washington. As far as other props, Protas, goal assist props, he's been terrific. Wilson, PLD probably worth a shot now that he's on the top line. And maybe Jacob Chikrin, because Jacob Chikrin's in one of those grooves right now for the Capitals, again, as far as scoring. He scored obviously against Buffalo, I believe, twice. He's been shooting the puck a lot. Morgan Geekie's the one player I would look at for Boston. 3-game goal streak, 3-game point streak. He's about the only guy doing anything for the Boston Bruins right now, Morgan Geekie. So those are some of the props. And gotta love this first period over. I mean, Washington's been surging to the first period over again. The last, 4-game first period over streak here for the Capitals. I think the full game goes over too. This is another bifecta, but again, wash, rinse, repeat. I do like the first 20 minutes, first period over more. Alex, what do you think here? Washington, Boston.
Yeah, this is another game where it's over bifecta and leaning toward the trifecta, leaning toward that both teams to score, but definitely liking leaning more toward it with Washington. And obviously, at this kind of a price, you can't really go with them even in regulation. You got to at least try and look for maybe team totals. And that's not one of my favorite team total spots either. I like goals here, back and forth, especially with Lindgren in net. We've often looked at Lindgren as the weaker of the two goalies later on, and especially later on in the season. But like I said, Ovechkin stuff. Looking at Ovechkin get minus $1.10 anytime goal, that's still worth a play. Until they start getting into the 130, 140 range, it's always worth taking a shot with Ovechkin. And of course, last goal, they've taken this a little bit down now. I'm seeing plus 600, plus 650 at some places. So shop around if you can still try and find the 7-1 at 750. But any range with Ovi anytime goal, Ovi last goal, still in that mode of betting that. But also we'll be looking at the over bifecta here as well.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we've got Tampa Bay, and you're right, Lindgren and Swayman, I should say, is your goaltending matchup here. And we know Swayman's had a rough year, and I don't trust Lindgren, so another reason why I think we should see at least some goals in this game. All right, next up, it's a rematch. These teams played Saturday down in T-Bay, and now here they are again going head-to-head. Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Islanders. Lightning minus 170, road favorite, 6 the total. We like the over, clearly. Islanders are on this over streak. It hasn't stopped. What is it now with the Islanders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight overs for the New York Islanders. And I swear we've been on most of them, if not all of them. So, like I said, it's been a really good run. We'll keep riding it. Now, the difference with this game is that, it's a rematch situation, and it was Vasilevsky. It was not Vasilevsky, I should say, Saturday in the game between the Islanders and Lightning. It was Johansson in net. You're going to have Vasi here tonight getting the start for the Lightning in this game. Ilya Sorokin in net. I don't trust Ilya Sorokin. Ilya Sorokin is living off that great year he had still 2 years ago. I thought last year he wasn't nearly as good, although he had some good moments. Even earlier this year, he had some okay moments for the New York Islanders. But lately, I don't like what I'm seeing. He's given up goals that have to be stopped. like the Vancouver game. He's got to stop some of those, and he just was not able to do that. So I do like just full game over here. No first period. This is just a full game over look here for me with the Lightning and Islanders. I'm tempted to take a shot with the Islanders, but boy, oh boy. I mean, because Tampa on the road is a different beast, as we know, and it's a big price. And, the Islanders have to play this game like it's game 7. Their margin for error is getting smaller and smaller because of what's going on in the Eastern Conference, because of Montreal winning. The Rangers have put some wins together. Columbus, has a winnable game tonight against Nashville. And the Islanders are 74 points at 74 points. They're behind all of those teams. They're 1 behind Columbus, 3 behind both Montreal and the New York Rangers. So this is absolutely huge for the Islanders tonight to try to get this one. I'm going to dabble slightly in the Islanders, but I also like the draw here, Lightning and Islanders. I think it's got, and I will say this about the Islanders. They've won 2 of the last 3 times they've hosted Tampa Bay here at UBS Arena. So, God, it's scary because this team, they had a chance to beat a good team in Tampa with Johansson in net, not Vasilevsky, and they still lost. And then the Carolina game, the very next night, they put Hogberg in net, and they were down early, and they made a valiant effort, but they fell short again. So it's not like I'm loving the idea of trusting the Islanders to beat a good team, but I just feel plus 150. Tampa got their win at home against the Islanders. They're not nearly as stable on the road. I don't mind taking a small shot with the Islanders here, plus 150, and I like the draw. In fact, I probably like the draw more than the Islanders money line. Alex, what do you think here? Lightning, Islanders.
Yeah, because we're seeing the Isles getting a home dog price of plus 150, we're getting great value on that draw. I grabbed plus 325 this morning. Like I said, both teams needing points, both in their own respective races. Isles is trying to get in the playoffs. Lightning trying to win that Atlantic Division and get that top spot and avoid having fallen to that 2-3 matchup. So I think this is a great spot for the draw here at plus 325.
It's been a costly losing streak for the Islanders. 5 straight that they've lost, and they need to stop the bleeding right now. There's no doubt about it because, like I said, they're falling out of it as opposed to getting back into it. Brandon Hagel, 6-game point streak. We got 3-game point streaks for Ryan McDonough, Jake Gensel, Braden Point, and Nikita Kucherov for the Lightning. 2-game point streak for the captain of the Islanders, Anders Lee, and the other captain, Victor Hedman for Tampa Bay, also on a 2-game point streak. Nikita Kucherov, 4-game goal streak. Braden Point, 3-game goal streak. Jake Gensel, 2-game goal streak. For the New York Islanders, as far as props tonight, goal-wise, I still think with Holmstrom and Duclair with Pajot, there's value. Lee is probably worth a look. Horvat, Palmieri are always a threat, but I think you get a little more value with those players in particular. And I'm going to give Tony D one more chance here. Goal and an assist for Tony DeAngelo as long as he remains on the top pair here for the New York Islanders. All right, Detroit and St. Louis. We've got they're the hottest team in hockey right now, the St. Louis Blues. 9 straight wins, going for number 10 in a row tonight. St. Louis minus 170, home favorites, 5.5 the total. Now, I've been on the Blues quite a bit. We've been riding them. They've been excellent. They've been playing. Their offense has been red hot. They haven't scored as much these last 2 games that they've won, but it's their team defense that's also getting it done right now. Penalty kill has been great. 5-on-5 defense has been great. Jordan Binnington, outstanding. In between the pipes for the Blues. No question about that. Huge win for them against Colorado. Great win. To go into Denver and hold that team to 1 goal, exceptional by the St. Louis Blues. So St. Louis is a one-way team. You either bet on them or pass right now. But I got to admit, I don't love this spot necessarily for them. And they're laying a minus 170 price against a team that needs this game like oxygen for whatever fledgling playoff hopes they have, and that being for the Detroit Red Wings, I mean, because they're in the same boat as the Islanders. They're 3 points back of the Habs and the Rangers. They have to have these games. It's simple as that. There's very little margin for error. The urgency level has to be there for Detroit, period. End of story. I don't know if they're good enough, quite honestly, to beat this St. Louis team, but I just don't want to, in this spot, lay minus 170 against a team that's got to play this game like their season's on the line, and that's what you got to get. I don't think Detroit's very good, and I don't think they're anywhere close to right now, especially as good as St. Louis. But like I said, this is where I pump the brakes a little bit on betting St. Louis, just because of the price and just because, Detroit is playing like you would think have got to come out with just utmost desperation. going into this game here tonight against the St. Louis Blues. And the concern becomes, can they beat a team of this quality? Because you look at, other than beating Vegas 3-0 at home in a brutal spot for the Golden Knights, their other wins in the last 10 games were Boston, Utah, and Buffalo, which isn't saying much. They lost to Ottawa, they lost at Colorado, they lost at Vegas, at Washington, at Carolina, at Ottawa again. I mean, they've just lost every single game against any sort of good team lately, the Detroit Red Wings. But like I said, you do have St. Louis coming off the high of the Denver or the Colorado win, laying a price like this, which is pretty expensive against a team that's utterly desperate like the Red Wings are. That's enough to keep me off betting the St. Louis Blues here. This could be a draw, believe it or not. I could be. But again, is Detroit going to play well enough to get this in a position where it goes to overtime? So I could see it with the draw, but there's other draw bets clearly that I like more than this. 8-2 to the over is what we're looking at. And I'm waiting to see who's going to be the goaltender here for Detroit. Binnington's confirmed for St. Louis. Lyon is projected for Detroit, but that's not confirmed yet. So I'm just waiting to see how that shakes out. But St. Louis, I like the first period over because St. Louis is heating up again with these 4 straight St. Louis games. First period over has hit going into this game tonight against Detroit. So I like that first period over. Certainly lean full game over, but again, kind of like the first period more. Alex, what do you think here? A very, very interesting and big 2 points on the line for the Red Wings and the Blues.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I ran to do this morning was bet St. Louis team total over 3.5. You can get it as high as plus 110. I've seen some plus 118s in some books as well. But as far as the American domestics, you can get plus money widely available. And like I said, I trust in St. Louis being able to score goals at least. No matter who it is for the Wings, whether it's Lyon, whether it's Talbot, 2 goalies we can't trust right now. And that blue line, we've seen them falter at big times. And this is a game where I wouldn't be shocked to see it go up and down. I am on the first period over pregame too. I got minus 118 at BetMGM. So 5.5. I will just be a little greedy and look for that. Try and grab plus money in game. So that's where I'll wait a couple minutes. I'll forego betting the first period over a game. I'll bet that early so I can focus more on grabbing 5.5 at a plus price. But definitely liking that team total over 3.5 with St. Louis.
Lucas Raymond, do we start trusting him? He's now scored in back-to-back games, and thank goodness they need his offense, Detroit. And Lucas Raymond now with back-to-back games with a goal for the Red Wings. Casper, the friendly betting ghost. Marco Casper's always worth a look, in my opinion, for Detroit. Raymond, Kane, and Casper for the Red Wings are on 2-game point streaks. Robert Thomas, 5-game point streak for the St. Louis Blues. Talked about the just brilliance of Dylan Holloway, plus 200. I mean, he's just been, we've talked about it enough. We don't have to talk about it more, but what can we say? He's been brilliant. Oiler fans, eat your heart out. But just unbelievable they let him just go. And like I said, Gairu, Buchnevich, has been solid as well. He scored in the last game. Zach Bolduc, don't sleep on him. Goals in 3 of the last 5 games, 5 of the last 10, and you can get plus 320 still for goal props right now with Zachary Bolduc for the St. Louis Blues. So a good prop game here. All right, Calgary, Utah. We've got Utah minus 180, minus 190 home favorites, 5.5. The total in this game. I get it. The spot's very, very tough for Calgary. You had a big win in Denver last night. You exerted yourselves big time to come back in that third period to win that game and a shootout to win it. And you come back on a back-to-back 2 nights in a row in thin air altitude. Your legs are going to, give out probably later in the game, or a chance that happens anyway. I get how bad the spot is, but it's factored into this line. It has to be, because in no proper world should we be running to bet Utah at minus 190 here. It's no. I get it. Utah is in the much better spot, but not at minus 190. Sometimes if you want to bet, Utah in this spot, they're obviously looking to take advantage of Calgary on the back-to-back. You say, you know what? Okay, great situational spot, but sometimes you just see the price and you have to pump the brakes. To me, it's absurd to lay minus 190. They're not the better team. They're not even playing that well right now. The Utah Hockey Club. They had lost 3 in a row. They beat Chicago 5-2. Chicago's not keeping the puck out of the net. Now they're back home. Even though they've been played a little bit better at home lately, they still have a losing record at home for the season, 15-19, 15-21, 15 wins, 14 regulation losses, 7 overtime shootout losses for Utah at home. So, the question is, can we trust Calgary? It is a tough spot, but it's Calgary or pass for me at this price. Utah's actually beaten Calgary twice this year, 5-1 at home and then 5-3 in Calgary. So Utah's actually matched up well, and certainly a big scheduling spot advantage for the Utah Hockey Club. But I'm still leaning Calgary plus 160. Don't know if I get there with that, but I tell you what I am getting there with, the draw one more time with the Calgary Flames. I think they can hang in there even on the back-to-back, gut this thing out to get it to OT. Even if they're, feeling it a little bit physically here on the back-to-back in altitude. And again, this draw run for Calgary, man, it has been quite evident. 4 of the last 5 Calgary Flames games have gone past regulation. Sign me up. That's good enough for me to take a shot here with the draw here at plus 340. Pretty good price. Alex, what do you think here, Calgary, Utah?
Yeah, dog and draw split for me as well. You give me I actually got plus 158. With Flames, not plus 160, but you get me that price with Dustin Wolf most likely starting in that, going up against Karel Vejmelka, who this will be, I think,
making his 90th straight start for the Utah Hockey Club. Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane how they just keep grinding this man into the ice. But like I said, Calgary, great run with the draw. These are teams that need the points. More so, obviously, Calgary. It's not officially over for Utah, but it's pretty much over for Utah. But obviously, with Calgary, they still have that fight. I like back-to-back teams, back-to-back spots for teams in this spot where they're trying to fight for their playoff lives, because that momentum carries over. We don't see a lot of fatigue. They know what they have to do. They're playing things period by period, shift by shift, the way that we see in playoff hockey. So, this is a good plus price. Take a shot with them, but also the draw here as well. So I'm even split with dog and draw here this week.
All right, dog and draw, Calgary plus 160, draw plus 340 for Alex here with the Flames and the Utah Hockey Club. And as far as props go for this game, it was a quiet night for Kadri and Huberdeau, and I know it was the foot soldiers that got it done last night, getting them even with Colorado, Lomberg and Klapka. I think it's a Kadri night here, and the big guns step up. Coronado, Huberdeau, I'd look toward them. The one player prop I like the most on Utah is our guy that's, I warned you, on the second line. He's a threat to score. Former Oiler, former Kraken, Kyler Yamamoto. He scored in Utah's last game for them. So, and you're getting, again, pretty good price on Kyler Yamamoto here for the Utah Hockey Club, plus 500. Upwards of that price for him to score a goal tonight. So, and I forgot to mention with Detroit St. Louis, that was the other game with the college prospect making his debut. Jimmy Snuggerud, as Rick Jeanneret, when Rick Jeanneret used to call games for his dad way back in the day when he was a member of the Buffalo Sabres. But yeah, Jimmy Snuggerud, and he's going to be playing with Bolduc and Sundqvist. So Jimmy Snuggerud goal prop. I am taking a shot with that as well in that Detroit and St. Louis game. All right, let's turn our attention to Edmonton and Vegas. We've got Vegas minus 160, home favorite, 6.5 the total. And yes, I do lean under in that Calgary game. I mean, they're strong back-to-back with unders. Could be one of those grind type of games. I could see it for sure. So I could see definitely it being a lower scoring game there. This game, Edmonton-Vegas, I hate to be repetitive, but I think this could be a draw. When all things are said and done here between these two teams. It's amazing what a world of difference just one player can make. And Edmonton was struggling with all the injuries, but then they get Leon Draisaitl back against Calgary, and look at what he did. He just said, we're not losing this game. I'm not letting us lose this game. And they beat Calgary in overtime, and it was all Leon Draisaitl. He was absolutely spectacular. So at least Edmonton, even though they've been banged up, kind of going through the motions a bit, at least they have Draisaitl back, and that gives them a much better chance. But they are still without Connor McDavid. Matthias Ekholm is still out. Stuart Skinner still out for the Edmonton Oilers. So Cal Pickard gets run back out there as the starting goaltender tonight. Aiden Hill will get the start here for Vegas in this game. Credit to Edmonton. They dug deep. They were down. They didn't lead at all until they won that game in overtime against Calgary. But I'm not ready to back them here. Vegas is rolling, 6 straight wins. It's 3-0 sweep on the road trip. Now, it was Minnesota, which is actually a decent win, but Chicago and Nashville after that. So we do need to calm down about how great that little road trip was for the Vegas Golden Knights. But, Edmonton, to me, maybe they're resting, Alex, on, and I'll get your thoughts on this, maybe they're resting on their laurels of beating LA every year in the playoffs the last 3 years. To me, it doesn't look like they're that concerned about the home ice in the first round against the LA Kings. They're like, we beat this team last year. We beat them 2 years ago. We beat them 3 years ago. We'll beat them again in the first round. Whether the series is starting at Crypto or whether the series is starting at Rogers Place in Edmonton. So to me, I don't sense this, we got to nail down this home ice advantage for the LA Kings series in the first round. I'm not getting that sense from the Edmonton Oilers. I think their focal concern is let's keep everybody healthy and let's avoid any more catastrophic injuries. So I know they came back to beat Calgary, and unfortunately they broke my heart there doing that because I had Calgary, and it was a best bet Saturday on the show. But I'm not running to bet Edmonton. I'm not. Even if this price is tempting, plus 140, but I am not running to bet Edmonton right now because I feel like they're worried about all the injuries they have, and they're worried more about getting more injuries rather than we got to go balls out to get home ice advantage in the first round against the LA Kings. I think they figure we've beaten this team every year in the playoffs. We don't give two shits where the series starts. Just give us LA again and we'll beat them again. I think that's kind of like their mindset right now. I don't sense this huge, got to have it as far as home ice is concerned. Alex, do you agree with that? And what do you think here, Oilers, Golden Knights?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it's more of in the sense, not so much of because we beat them so many times, we will get them back again and take care of business as usual. I think it's more of the sense of they know that there's the familiarity of having to go to LA. It's not going to be as big of a transition as maybe going somewhere else. So, if anything, that's the thing. You're trying to continue that consistency in the playoffs. Get into a rhythm. So if you have a rhythm of, hey, the last 3 years we played the playoffs, our first round opponent's been LA, that might be more of just a familiarity and comfort than anything else. Not necessarily to believe that they can take care of business and win that easily or that it'll be a sweep this year because they beat them 3 times in a row. Now, in saying that, I think it might actually be kind of worrisome for them to get LA this year because of the fact that this is the same Edmonton team, and they are limping into the playoffs at this point, having guys coming back from injury, and I think that could be kind of an issue down the road. But as far as tonight goes, I would look more toward the Vegas. I have this circle as a game to look for overs in game. 6.5 is a tad bit steep, but we could see a goal early, so I may wash that out. So I maybe look for a goal, maybe that goal the first 5 minutes, and then try and look for over by affected game. But I'm going to lead more toward Vegas. This is one where I would look to try and maybe get if Edmonton does score a goal early. Maybe we see Vegas as a dog, and I'll try and jump on them live. This is a good live betting game for me.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it too. If I get involved, I have nothing yet pregame on this, but maybe something live does appear when it comes to this game. Mark Stone, 3-game point streak. Close shave Barbashev for the Vegas Golden Knights, 2-game point streak as well going into this one. 3-game, how about this for a 3-game goal streak, by the way? Unlikely candidate to be on a 3-game goal streak for the Vegas Golden Knights. Brett Howden. And this guy's a hardworking player. But certainly he's been a bottom 6 guy, but all of a sudden here he is on a 3-game goal streak for the Vegas Golden Knights entering tonight. We'll see if that continues for him, even though he's down the lineup a little bit for Vegas going into this game. You've got, can Arvidsson heat up? And especially with Connor McDavid still out. And I know they have Draisaitl back now, but you would really like Victor Arvidsson to show the kind of offensive, capabilities he's shown in the past, but it really hasn't been there for him consistently. Adam Henrique, Corey Perry, the old foot soldiers, you're going to need more out of them, clearly. Can Jeff Skinner, Matthias Janmark, and Connor Brown, that line give them something? Can Kasperi Kapanen give them anything? And they're experimenting tonight with Podkolzin, with Draisaitl and Arvidsson on that top line. But my goodness, Kapanen's got 6 goals, and he hasn't scored since early February. And they've got him on the second line. So that's the problem right now with Edmonton. There's a lot of guys that haven't pulled their weight offensively. Even Podkolzin, he's stuck on 7 goals. He's got just 1 goal since the late part of February. And this is a guy they got playing on the top line with Leon tonight. So, we're grasping at straws a little bit right now for Chris Knobloch as far as supplemental offense is concerned at the moment. All right, next up, we've got just a couple games left. We've got San Jose and Anaheim. I guess if I was going to sell you on why this game would be worth watching, it's because there have been some, there have been some battles, there have been some wars in the past with these two teams, California rivals, but there's not much else to sell you. There's good young talent on this team for the future. I guess you could say that, but like I said, you're going to have to sell people hard on trying to watch this one. Anaheim minus 190, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. The Sharks, just a complete and utter just destruction that they suffered at the hands of the LA Kings on Sunday night, 8-1, wrong place, wrong time. LA was not happy about losing that game against Toronto the night before. The Ducks, even in the loss against Toronto, 3-2 Sunday night, I've been impressed with their compete level. They had won 3 of 4 before that. They had won 2 in a row at home against the Bruins and the Rangers. So the teams that are worse than them, they beat. So, but again, minus 190. We're not now at the price range where I'm interested in Anaheim. Minus 190. Obviously, they're very capable of winning this game. They probably do. They've owned San Jose. They've won 4 straight over the Sharks. 6 of the last 7, the Ducks have also beaten the Sharks. But it's minus 190. I'm not interested here in this one. You could maybe talk me into an over by Fecta. It's 2 teams out of the playoffs. Who's playing defense? There's certainly some truth to that. We'll have to see who's in net here. Georgiev and Gibson are the projected goalies. Keep in mind, there are some injuries for Anaheim. Well, there are the same defensemen are out for San Jose, Desharnais, Henry Thrun, Jan Ruda. But for Anaheim, it looks like Troy Terry may be a no-go. And, of course, Trouba looks like he might miss again. And Terry got injured in the Toronto game. He may not play tonight for the Anaheim Ducks. So the only thing I'd maybe consider is an over by Fecta. And even then, I might wait in-game to bet it. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks, Ducks.
Yeah, this is a pass for me pregame. If I, like I said, tune in and see something live, then I'll look to jump in on it. But I got nothing pregame for this one.
Yeah, Anaheim, if you take Anaheim, take their team total. Because more than likely, if they win this game, they're going to get the 4 goals that you need as far as cashing the team total is concerned. Prop-wise for this game, I'm coming back to Leo. Leo Carlson's finally, the price has been adjusted now on Leo Carlson, but he scored in 3 straight games for Anaheim. He's been great. How about Kookie, Lemby Lacombe, Jackson Lacombe, 5-game point streak for Anaheim. Cutter Gauthier, 3-game point streak for the Ducks as well. So definitely some players that are feeling it right now for Anaheim. Worth a look on the prop board for this game tonight. All right, last game. Winnipeg Jets, Los Angeles Kings. We've got LA minus 125, home favorites. Total here sitting at 5.5, shaded to the under. This has under written all over it. And I'm not Mr. Under, as you guys know. You're clearly well aware of that. But if it's Hellebuck versus Kemper, and I believe it will be here in this game tonight, where are the goals going to be? Kemper, first of all year has been great at Crypto.com Arena. We know that. And Winnipeg, I could definitely see them playing, tight defensively. I thought they played very well defensively against Vancouver Sunday afternoon. They got the lead and they shut it down. They shut out New Jersey 4-0 on Friday night. So they've allowed just 1 goal in the last 2 games combined, 3 straight unders for Winnipeg. LA, meanwhile, they bounced back from the 2 losses to Colorado and the Leafs, scoring just the 1 goal in those 2 games combined and, crushing San Jose 8-1. Problem is, you're talking about under at 5.5 here, and it's minus 145. So it's heavily juiced to the under, minus 140, minus 145. We'll see if it goes under, but it feels like it's an under game, but obviously it's well reflected. And it's still a little bit dicey sometimes to bet these under 5.5 when it's that much juice attached to it. That being said, 2 straight meetings have gone under between the Kings and the Jets, 4-1, and they were both games earlier this year. LA won 4-1 at home, stayed under. LA won in Winnipeg 2-1 in overtime. That game also stayed under. Yeah, and I'm passing on the side right now. Winnipeg, don't really want to fade them, even though they've shown little glimpses of, not getting the, not being, I guess, on the ball for 60 minutes in every game the last week or 2. They've had some losses. They've had some hiccups. But I'm not betting against LA this cheap at home on this great home ice. That is for sure. So, this is not much here other than a small lean to the under, maybe some props. Alex, what do you think here? Jets, Kings.
Oh, Yeah. This is one where if you like a side and you want to go under, this is where you use BetMGM to your advantage. You can get either plus 175 for Jets to win in under 6.5 goals, or Kings to win in under 6.5 goals. So that may be the route to take as far as pregame. But this is another one where it's late and with a heavier card. This is not something that anything sticking out, pregame. So I'll be waiting for stuff live for this one.
This actually could be the best game of the late night games because Edmonton
Yeah.
Vegas has some shine off it because Edmonton's kind of banged up and kind of going through the motions. Forget San Jose Anaheim. This might be the best game of the late night. So Jonathan Davis in our chat, have fun down at the Crypto Barn tonight as far as that's concerned. Prop wise for this game, Winnipeg and LA. You look at the numbers here. Let me just see. There we go. Winnipeg, LA. 6-game point streak for Nikolai Ehlers for Winnipeg. 5-game point streak for Scheifele. 2-game point streaks for Kyle Connor for Winnipeg and Philip Deneau for LA. Keep that in mind. So both of those guys, they've been on rolls of late. When you look at the goal props as well, we got some players that are in some decent form, I would say, right now as well, going into this game here with the Jets and the Kings. So there's a couple props that do stand out there as far as that's concerned. Byfield's always, we talked about how good he's been of late, no question. So someone to keep in mind as far as a goal prop on the Kings side. Kuzmenko, he's been a point machine lately, and he has found some chemistry with Kopitar and Kempe. I believe Kuzmenko had a couple of assists the other night. Didn't score, but he had a couple of assists against the San Jose Sharks. Now, again, that was a blowout. You expect goals to be hard to come by. No, he had a goal and 2 assists against San Jose. But still, I like the way he's kind of played. Yeah, Iafallo on the top line's a good one against his old team as well. That makes a lot of sense. 100%. Well, Alex Iafallo with Scheifele and Connor, who have been big-time point merchants lately. Iafallo got 2 goals against New Jersey. Didn't score against Vancouver up there, but again, you've got that former team angle. Now with Winnipeg against his old team, the LA Kings, makes sense. And yes, the Fogue Daddy, another guy that the Oilers let get away. Look at all these players the Oilers let get away. Warren Foegele, Dylan Holloway, all these guys that are doing great elsewhere. And then they're bitching about why they don't have any depth scoring and why they rely on McDavid and Draisaitl too much. So, one of these deals where you had depth scoring. You had a Warren Foegele in your organization. You had a Dylan Holloway in your organization, and you let him get away. It's like the Denny Green. Let him off the hook. You let him get away is what ended up happening. So just funny to see these guys, these former Oilers, thriving and playing well in other spots. All right, there you have it. That's the Tuesday card. Shout out to everyone. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you sign up. If you're not a Patreon member already, make sure you get on board. Just $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. Goalie charts, totals charts. Our daily betting card gets posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Sides, totals, player props. We've got, of course, our Ice Guys exclusive live betcasts coming up. Oh, and our live chat rooms. The interaction's great with the Patreon members. So keep it going. Live chat room for general discussion. Live wagering, live betting chat room. You got a live bet, an in-game bet, posted in our live bet wagering chat room on the Patreon page. All that and more. Plus, of course, access to our Patreon exclusive live betcasts. We have 3 Patreon exclusive live betcasts coming up in the next 10 days. This Thursday, April the 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern, Patreon exclusive live betcast. Next Tuesday, April the 8th, Patreon exclusive live betcast. And then the following Thursday, April 10th, also a Patreon exclusive live betcast. Plus, of course, our one free-for-all betcast this month, which will be Tuesday, April 15th, the final week of the regular season. So make sure you're a Patreon member, because the only way that you can tune into those betcasts and join us on the stream is to be a Patreon member. So make sure you sign up, just $10 per month. And again, your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So make sure you sign up if you haven't already. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadsshop.com. I tell you, we have specials all month starting in April. Today is the first of 3 days where you'll be able to save 10% on 3 or more items. So you hit the redeem button at the homepage, add 3 or more items to your cart, and you will have 10% taken out right as you get to checkout. So definitely don't miss out on that. We've got all kinds of new items in the store as well. The specials coming all month long. So that's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There you go. Take advantage of that. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page. Everyone loves a perfect pair. Bacon and eggs. Thunder and lightning. Mario and Luigi. A hot dog with fries. Ian and Alex B. That's right. Everyone loves a perfect pair. So why not pair up your game nights with Boston Hemp? From exotic flower to concentrates and edible products. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better pairing than Boston Hemp and hockey. Check them out today at bostonhempinc.com. That's bostonhempinc.com. Boston Hemp Incorporated, the official smoke sponsor of the Ice Guys. Void where prohibited by law. Not available outside of the United States. Must be 21 or over to obtain products. Check your local regulations to see if Boston Hemp is available in your area.
Hey, Ian, I got to tell you about this app I've been using lately called Kalshi. Kalshi.com. Did you know it's the only place where you can trade on March Madness in all 50 U.S. states?
I have heard about this, actually. Kalshi is the first and only legal prediction market that lets you trade on real-world events with the look and feel of stock trading, whether it's who will win elections, who will win the Grammy or Oscar awards, or what the price of Bitcoin will hit this year. You can bet you trade on just about anything on Kalshi.
With over 1 million users across all 50 states and over $1 billion worth of trades, Kalshi is an absolute game changer. And with March Madness coming to a close, baseball about to get in the full swing, playoffs on the horizon in hockey and basketball, now's the time to sign up and trade with Kalshi today.
Sign up at kalshi.com/iceguys, and the first 500 traders to join and trade 100 contracts, you will get a free $10 credit added to your account. So don't miss out on all the action. Join Kalshi today at kalshi.com/iceguys. That's kalshi.com/iceguys. Shout out to all our great sponsors, including Boston Hemp Inc., 20% off using the promo code IceGuys, bostonhempinc.com, and Kalshi, regulated, world's best, biggest trading platform, everything, sports, entertainment, crypto, stocks, politics, you name it. I mean, if you're not just a sport, you don't just want to be involved with sports, you can find everything there as far as getting involved at Kalshi. So make sure you check that out, kalshi.com/iceguys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We're coming off the Matvei Mishkov over 1.5 points last night, plus 330. We'll try to find another bargain bin, maybe two, believe it or not, I might go with here tonight. Alex, what do you like here for bargain bin special?
Yeah, we got a big game down in the Gateway City, St. Louis. You got the Red Wings taking on the Blues, and I'm looking at a guy, one of the bottom 6 forwards for the Blues that could chip in. Like I said, we like goals in this spot, like that team total over. Give me Zach Bolduc plus 310 at FanDuel to get a goal. Skating on that third line. You know, Snuggerud's a choice that people are looking at too. Obviously, first game coming up, the college kid, but I think he might be able to open up some facilitation for that third line. And Zach Bolduc plus 310. I think that's a fair shot there. So give me him anytime goal scorer for the St. Louis Blues tonight. That is my Tuesday bargain bin special.
All right, there you go. Zach Bolduc, St. Louis Blues. I like it. That'll be one of my prop bets. It's not one of my bargain bin specials, but it definitely will be one I bet as well. I'm giving you 3 tonight. 3. Not very rare 3-pack of bargain bin specials, but I like them all. I don't want to leave one of them off and one of them hits. I'd be pissed. So I'm going with all 3 of these. First one, Brett Howden for Vegas. I'm not leaving the chance to take Brett Howden, Vegas, plus 550. With the way he's been scoring. 3 straight games with a goal for him. The price is great. He's clearly found a little offensive mojo for the Golden Knights. So Brett Howden plus, let me just make sure. So that's the best price. Yeah, plus 550. That'll be my first of 3 bargain bin specials. My next one is the guy we mentioned earlier on this show with the great point streak and goal streak that he has been on for the Buffalo Sabres, the mighty Quinn. Jack Quinn plus 380 for him. I like that quite a bit. That's my second bargain bin. And the third bargain bin, we're going to the new kid on the block here. Mr. College Man, Ryan Leonard. He was at the bar last night. He's in the building tonight in Boston with family and friends in attendance, I'm sure, because he's a Massachusetts kid. I'm going to bank on him maybe finding the back of the net here for the Washington Capitals in his NHL debut. And I like the situationals, too. He's going to have family in attendance as well. Plus 450 at Bet365. What a price that is there. So there you go. 3 bargain bin specials. Brett Howden, Vegas, plus 550. Jack Quinn, Buffalo, plus 380. Ryan Leonard, Washington, in his NHL and Capitals debut, plus 450 for a trio of bargain bin specials tonight for me on this Tuesday. All right, nice. Best bets. There you go. You like them. I like it. Hopefully they cash in as good as they sound. Right now. Absolutely. That's for sure. That's the next step. Best bet, Alex. What do you like?
Well, let's head out to Boston. You got that game with the Caps and the Bees. I like that first period over 1.5. Like you said, you can grab that right now at minus 115 at FanDuel. So we'll go first period over with Caps and Bruins. That's my Tuesday best bet.
All right, there you go. Caps Bruins. First period over for Alex B. Smith with his best bet for this Tuesday card. My best bet for this Tuesday card, let me just see here what we're going to go with. There's a couple of good choices. Let's do the Tampa Islanders over. We'll go with that. 8 straight. You can't argue with it. 8 straight overs for this Islanders team. We'll see if they can make it 9 here tonight. Lightning Islanders over 6, minus 110 for best bet here for this Tuesday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, we've got our BetCast Thursday night, Patreon exclusive, Thursday, April 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you get on board. Patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. And we want to see it joining us hopefully for Thursday night for our Patreon exclusive live betcast. And again, we got 3 that are just Patreon exclusive in the next 10 days. So very much looking forward to that. Great stuff. The chat was popping as it always is. We don't get a chance to thank the chat enough. I believe, and I don't mention the comments as much as I probably should, because I'm on a show with Jimmy the Bag and he mentions every friggin' comment that comes through. I don't know how he does it. I don't keep on top of it like that, but I do read it and I do see it, and we appreciate the interaction. It's great. Good stuff. And good luck to everyone in the chat tonight. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.